You're listening to Multiple Offers, a real estate show with competing perspectives. Today we're talking foreclosures. Deal of a lifetime or complete waste of time?
Put that coffee down.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
How'd you get the gig? Oh, you know, they were hiring. It was only a 2-week course.
I will sell this house today.
What are you, some kind of real estate agent?
Oh, he's a realtor. There is a difference somehow.
This is Multiple Offers, a real estate show.
All right, come back.
But you write an offer on the property. So potentially you have those conditions. You're negotiating technically with the bank, would you say?
With the lawyer.
With the lawyer?
The bank really is unaware.
Okay. So the lawyer has some information on what the property's worth. They have that knowledge. So they'll kind of negotiate a little bit, see what happens. So say you get the offer accepted. You go through typical offer process of going through your satisfying your conditions. So everything's checked out and you go, okay, yeah, that looks good. I'm ready to.
So buyer is removing their conditions.
I'm removing my condition. But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
There's the seller condition.
That's right.
So the bank's condition, the lawyer's condition, and it's referencing the Schedule A, saying that the court has to approve this.
Yeah.
This
So
transaction.
all foreclosure proceedings are subject to court approval.
Right.
There's no way around that.
Right. So now that you have that, you've got your offer in place. Now you're playing a waiting game.
Yeah. So you're waiting for a court date, and
But that will actually sort of initiate that, right?
Yeah. You have to have the buyer has to remove all of their subjects to trigger the request for a court date.
Mm-hmm.
And a court date usually you will get in 3 to 4 weeks. 5 weeks would be long.
Okay. And so now you're in it. So once you've removed your buyer conditions, you are in it for the long haul. So for that 5-week period, potentially until that court date is set. So you're not looking at other properties.
You can't. You're tied. Well, you can look at them.
You can look at them, but there's not much you're going to be able to do.
Yeah, you are tied and bound to that condo until the court date comes.
So you're not giving if you're renting, you're not giving notice.
Nope.
You're potentially missing out on other properties.
Yep.
And the other fun part about it is a lot of times your actual price, accepted offer price, becomes public knowledge.
Yes. So let's talk about why that matters, because we arrive at the court date. Okay, so its court date is here. Mm-hmm. Let's say it's best case scenario, it's 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
You get your court date. It's recommended, at the very minimum, your agent attends the court date, but it's best if you, the buyer, and your agent are there in court. Mm-hmm. It's almost always for Metro Vancouver properties at the provincial court in downtown Vancouver.
Robson.
Yeah. Sometimes they end up in New West. Or Surrey.
I've only ever gone to the one downtown.
Yeah. The reason why is it's actually the lawyer who chooses which courthouse.
Okay. So if they're local
and the
here.
big banks use big time lawyers, and they're all downtown.
So that's why they get the choice.
That's why it all went. Yeah, the
so
lawyer
even I'm learning something.
Yeah, so I actually did one in New West once, but it was a smaller firm.
Nice, yeah.
Representing a private lender.
Right.
So it was really nice, just down the street from us.
Yeah.
Your agent should at least be there. Best if the buyer and the agent are there. And the reason why is because, like you said, Jeremy, the price is then public record, and the court. What's the language for the list for the day?
Like the registry.
The registry, that's
registrar,
it.
Registry. But they've got a list for what's happening for that day.
These are the proceedings today, and it tells you precisely the price that is on the accepted offer that's being presented to the judge.
Right.
Now, because that's going to become public, anytime after subjects are removed on this offer, if you call the listing agent and say, hey, what's your court date? They'll say, oh, we're working on it, but we have an offer that's been accepted and we're waiting for a court date. They'll tell you the price right there.
Yeah. So if you've, so here's another fun fact. If you've negotiated that crazy deal of a lifetime on that property.
He was asking $600,000. You got an accepted offer for $490,000.
Wow. Amazing. You've just fished any of the actual deal hunters, the contractors out there that are like, hey, I crunch the numbers and at this price I can make a buck. They see that. They're like, it's worth my time to show up.
Yeah, and everybody who's shown interest, some moderate to high interest in that property, once there's an offer in place with a court date, the listing agent is going to call all of them and say, we have a court date at this price, so you might want to come and show up. Why is it good for them to show up? Because at the court proceeding, when it's presented to the judge, anyone can walk in and present an unconditional offer.
Mm-hmm.
So it just has to be better than the price that was there.
Yep.
That's why it's public record.
Yep.
Because the court and the lawyer have a responsibility to get the highest price possible.
Yeah.
So anybody can present an offer. And then so it's happened where you go, and that's why you're there as the buyer and you're with your agent, and then you go see the agent for the lender and you say, any gut feeling that anybody's going to arrive today? And they say, well, I don't really know for sure, maybe. Or sometimes they say, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I see the usual suspects in the lobby hanging out.
Yeah, and people have asked me for the paperwork and all the rest of it, so I know that it's very likely someone's coming because 6 different people have asked me for all the documentation. So then you wait for that final moment, and they say, okay, yes, you will be put into competition, buyer one. Buyer one being the person who made the first offer negotiated. So you are going to be put in competition. So the only way you're going to get this home is if you improve your price because somebody else is coming in higher than your number.
Another reason to be there.
That's why you need to be there.
Yeah.
So this is the whole reason why you need to be there.
Yeah.
And so now you have an option, and they say, okay, well, there's 1 other offer, there's 2 other offers, there's 5, and it's a sealed bid auction. Everyone goes in an envelope up to the judge. He opens each one individually.
And we know what happens in competition, especially when you're invested. If you're not one of these contractors and you're like, I'm just looking for a place for myself, me and my partner, maybe you got a kid, you've already gone through and you've waited this, and now I might lose it to one of these builders or to some of these other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the owner has a chance to come up with the funds.
Yeah, the owner can show up on court
Can
day.
still say, oh, actually, I've just been able to secure financing. So
here I am. The whole thing just cut ties. It's done.
Another thing that could add to your bad day.
And then it's all gone. It's all been ripped out of your hands, right? As buyer one.
Yeah. So all sealed envelopes.
Yep.
You're sitting in the courtroom. The judge has them in front when they pull up the file. He goes through, and it's basically letter opening time.
Yep. And they're unconditional offers.
Yeah.
So
With deposit checks.
they have to have deposits because the deposit is due right there upon court approval.
Yep.
It has to stay with the lawyer. There can be one slight modification, and that could be possession date. So the offers that are presented don't have to be identical, but it's often recommended that you fit the possession timeline that's similar to the
what they're looking
offer one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it can be different. So I've seen it happen where we were at court once and we're waiting. We're like, is anybody else coming? And we don't know. He says, okay, yeah, it looks like there's going to be another offer. Okay, yeah, there's definitely going to be another offer. So you're going to need to change and improve your offer. And this is a really strange situation. And then the lawyer said, the owner just showed up. The owner's here. And everybody starts like, their eyes are looking like left and right. The owner's here. The owner's here. They're going to try to
get their house back.
To get their house back.
Yeah.
And it said, okay, and then we talked to them and they said, do you have the funds? They said, well, we can come up with the funds. Yeah, we can do this. And they're like, we don't really trust them. We don't trust the paper. We really don't know what's going on. But what we know for certainty is they didn't come with a deposit check. They don't have a deposit check. The lender, the lawyer, no one is interested in this person buying this house back.
Right.
So the judge agreed. There was a whole docket of foreclosures to look at that day.
Yeah.
They looked at this one first.
Okay.
They expedited it, put it right to the top of the pile, said, do it right now.
Yeah.
And put that through. So our clients were offer one.
Yeah.
And they had to improve their offer. So they increased their price, and they still were the highest price, turned out. So they got it.
Nice.
But it was amazing to see that. Like, the homeowner showed up, and then the lawyer said, oh my gosh, like, we don't want this guy. Like, he's been so much trouble. We don't want him getting this house back because we'll just end up here again a year from now.
Right.
So everybody was in agreement, the judge and everybody, like, let's expedite this. Let's do this. It was amazing to kind of see all of this happening. It was really unexpected. And we're sitting there, myself and the buyers, and you're just sitting there in a courtroom just waiting.
Yeah.
And you don't even understand half of what's happening because they're speaking kind of quietly up at the judge's desk there. And then the lawyer is speaking to him, and you can't hear a lot of the dialogue. And then the words you do pick up are like legalese process words.
Okay.
So you don't really know what's happening, and the judge just sort of opens them up and goes like a ka-dunk, like the gavel, like this one's closed, whatever. And we sort of looked all at each other and like, so
the lawyers know.
Was that us? Like, did we get it? And then you kind of look at the lawyer and you kind of look at you.
He might give you a nod.
Hey, was that us? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's it. And then you have to get up quietly and leave, and then you go out into the hallway. And all right.
High fives for everyone.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.